an important news we all would like to know about. So come 1st of April, it's a good time to talk about increments, but there is unfortunately not such great news. Stubborn inflation, higher interest rates and a slowing economy are likely to make the organizations more cautious this year. So according to Deloitte India survey, average India increments are going to drop to 9.1% in 2023 from earlier 9.4% in 2022, with IT likely to see the sharpest drop in the increments versus the last year. Not surprising, given the layoffs announced globally by the tech giants, no sector other than the services is likely to see higher increments in 2023 versus the last year. And Reema Tendulkar is standing by with all the details in that report. Reema.
Thanks so much for that. So the key takeaway is that the average increment this year is going to be lower than last year. This is according to the Deloitte survey. The average India increment in 2023 is likely to be 9.1%, and this is lower than 9.4% in 2022. Remember, 2020 was the COVID year, which is why the salary increment in that year was amongst the lowest that we've seen in every decade. Only 1 in every 3 organizations is planning to give a double-digit average increment. So get ready to earn less at a time when inflation is biting at the other end. The statement made by Anandaroop Ghosh, the partner at Deloitte India, who authored this report in the survey, is quite self-explanatory. He says Indian organizations budgeted the highest increment last year in 2022 compared to the prior 4 years. They hired aggressively, and this led to employee costs rising faster than revenues, again compared to the last couple of years, in almost every company. But now, with stubborn inflation, higher interest rates and a slowing economy, companies, organizations are likely to turn more cautious this year, which is why they're expecting increments and attrition to witness lower trends this year. Now let's break it down sector by sector and find out what Deloitte has to say, how much your industry increment is likely to be this year. As you can see, across most sectors, the increments are broadly likely to be lower. If you look at the manufacturing sector, for instance, that number will come up for you on your screen. The increment this year is likely to be 8.6% versus 9% in compared to last year. The consumer products industry, the increment this year is likely to be 9% versus 9.4%. But the industry or the sector which is likely to get the hardest hit is going to be the IT industry, where the drop in incremental wages is most severe. It doesn't come as a surprise given the layoffs globally and the drop in attrition levels in the tech industry, now down to 15 to 16% versus nearly 20% in the prior year. Now let's move on. Which sector is likely to witness the highest increment this year? Well, it's going to be life sciences and manufacturing. Both these two sectors are going to see the highest increment. But again, this year as well, if you look at the life sciences numbers, the increment at 9.5% is going to be lower than what you've seen in the last year. And the final plate will show you that most sectors across the board are going to witness a decline in wage hikes except the services sector. Services sector this year is likely to see higher increments at 8.8% versus 8.6% last year. There are many other interesting things in the report. For example, some of the challenges that are being laid out. The tech is at the forefront of every company, but 27% of the organizations are reporting major challenges in the integration of new technology with their existing technology platforms. Another challenge which has been outlined is the gap between the skills and the requirement. 19% of the organizations, mostly in the IT and IT-enabled and consumer sectors, have said that their employees have visibility of skills beyond their current role. Only 19%. But anyway, back to wrapping up this. India Inc. is likely to hand out lower wages and lower salaries this fiscal. Back to you.
All right, that's really not good news for the average, employed person. Reema, thanks a lot for taking us through all of the details from that report. On that note, we're going to wind down on this edition of Business Lunch with